Hello and welcome back to WE Sports. I am Fate, joined here by Ben, and today we have Mountaineers facing off against Lubbock Christian University. But before we go into this, what are we thinking, Ben?
I think this is a really exciting game, especially with how the Mountaineers played last week. They played
Mm-hmm.
very aggressive, and Emma played a really good game last week. So if they can keep this up, this should be a really good, just easygoing game for them.
Mm-hmm.
But like any sports, just because you're favored by a lot, you cannot count the team out.
Right, 100%. And I mean, I made that mistake a couple weeks ago for the Mountaineers' first and only loss here in NACE play. I said FIU is going to be an easy, team. We're going to go in, we're going to beat them, and that did not happen, like even remotely. So going into this, I don't want to come in too high, hot-headed because they are coming off a very solid win, like you said. Emma playing perfect so far. So going into this, I think as long as they can just keep that tempo and they're able to set the pace that they want to play at, something that they were not really able to do against FIU, I think this should be a solid win.
Yeah, I agree. This should be a solid one. It just goes down to can they control the pace of the ball and can they do what they want. That's play very aggressive and force the other team to play defense. Because when they play very aggressive and force the other team to defend, things tend to go to right. But when they have to force a change of plans, that's when they usually start to have trouble. So
Yeah.
again, I expect them to just rely on the veteran leadership with players like Emma, and then just use that experience to try to take advantage of goals and get things going on early.
Yes, I do agree. So that last week matchup, Western Michigan, they took that 2-0. So obviously these Swiss matchups are all best of three, so they're going to be very quick fire. Which is why we're going to have actually two games today. We're going to have this one here, and then later on tonight, depending on how this game goes, they'll be facing a different opponent. We don't know who that's going to be because of the whole Swiss lineup and all that stuff. But right now the Mountaineers are sitting tied for second with I think 6 other teams. I want to say, yeah. They're currently 5-1. The one seed is Wichita State, which is 7-0. So they are head and shoulders above the crowd as of now. I think they're the only team to actually play 7 games as well. I think every other team is going into their 6th game right now, so they have a bit of a head start. So we'll see if that ends up holding strong at the end of the day. But still. So right now we're tied with St. Clair, George Mason, LCU, which is the team we're playing today, Northern Kentucky, BGSU, and yeah, those teams. So if we were able to take this today, we should kind of narrow down that crowd a little bit to try to take that second place a bit more, I guess, dominantly, you could say.
Yeah, with games like this, especially when you have such a crowd up top field besides the Wichita State Shockers, who are just so far been shown to be the clear best team, being the only one that lost. This is actually better for the league because when you have this close competition, that means most of the games are very competitive. And for the most part, with how the Mountaineers have played, they played very well. They've also played some very close games. They've also dominated this game. I think it shows just how evenly, both from either just a technical mechanics wise to just there's not much of a skill gap, so then it just comes down to who plays a cleaner game. And I think this is not only just what's been happening in the league play, but what the Mountaineers are about to play. So it's just who can play the cleaner game, because there's not really that big of a skill level in this league.
Yeah, that is true. So like you said, not a lot of these games have been, I would say, dominant in most senses. Like they do have that singular loss, but other than that, all the games outside of that single loss have been very, very good. The Mountaineers have been playing very well this entire Swiss. It also gives them a lot of games to really find themselves a little bit more. I think, like you said, a lot of times when they're forced to be very defensive, it doesn't really work in their favor. Time and time again. But when they're able to just kind of make their offense the top priority, they win games. Simple as that. So if they do win this game, like I said, with the Swiss, you play the team that you have the same record as. So if they win this, they'll be 6-1, so they'll play another 6-1 team. So everyone that they're tied with in second place right now, one of those teams will be their opponent later tonight. So we'll have to see how that happens, because if they win both games, they could be the only 2 seed, I believe. So this is a big night for WVU Lotus. They have the chance to really take a strong hold here in NACE.
Yeah, this is a big opportunity, and it's important that they grab a hold and firmly place it. But for the Mountaineers, I like to, if I had to use an analogy for this team, they're like a mighty sword. When it's on offense, they're nearly unstoppable. But one of their weakest points that this team still has ways to improving is defensively, because which they've shown in the past when they lost to FIU, is when they're forced to play defense, they're not the best at it, and that's not what their strong point is. Their strong point is just heartbreaking, putting a ton of pressure on the defense and forcing you to play backs against the wall during their offense. So they're like a mighty sword. When they're striking you down, they're hard to defend it, but if you hit the sword at the wrong angle, the sword starts to crack. I think if the Mountaineers just stick to what they work best with, and that's just heart-taking, putting straight-up pressure on the team's goalkeeper and putting shots on goal, this game is going to be a really good game for the Lotus.
I agree. And we've seen them just pepper shot after shot. And even against like really good defenses, the defenses that have, been tested before in Swiss play, they just eventually one's going to sneak its way through. You can only block so many shots if eventually you're just going to be out of position and one's going to just find the back of the net. So if they're able to do that today, like you've been mentioning here, I think this is going to be, in my opinion, a 2-0. That's my prediction.
I'm going to go with a 2-1, just because I can't. It's just with we've seen the play. They've had problems at defense, and I think even though they've been on fire of late, I could see them slipping up one game, and I think they're just going to use that game early. So because what Lotus has proven to start is they don't play their most aggressiveness until game 2.
Right.
So if they get off to a slow start, I think that might cost them game 1. But after that, usually I see them going smooth sailing and winning 2 straight in a row.
Yeah. And to be fair, LCU's been on a very hot streak. They have not lost the only game that they did lose was a 2-0 to George Mason. So they actually, when they win, it's a 2-0. When they lose, it's an 0-2. So they have yet to really have a game 3 all season long. So if your prediction does come true, that'll be their first game 3 of the entire season. So we'll see today if the streak continues for LCU or if it's going to have to break.
Yeah, for the Happy Chaps, though, this honestly, you'd rather them have to play a game 3, because let's say my vision does come through when they're forced to play game 3. The Lotus has played plenty of game 3s, like they've had that one loss, and it honestly works more in the Lotus team's favor than it does with the Happy Chaps, because even though it shows you only have that one loss, you lost to 2, you haven't been forced to play an extra game, and so far we don't know if they can keep up their high pace for that third game. So there's just a little bit left of doubt. Can they keep up the high standards when it goes to that third game? Or is it just they play 2 and they don't have that experience and they kind of falter?
It's a good point. I don't know. I don't know, because it is a mental game a lot of times. If you're not really used to those, down to the wire situations, when one does finally arise, you're going to be kind of out of your element a little bit. But this is going to be the second to last week in Swiss play. We have these 2 games tonight, and then we have one more week next week. And so we'll have to see how that goes. Camera is frozen, so we are going to take a quick technical break, and then we'll be back. Oh, never mind. We're getting right into the game, so never mind. We're just going to hop right into that in 1 second. Here we go. All righty. First game here against LCU White. Kickoff going to go the way of LCU for the time being. Snap taking ownership of the ball already. A nice shot, a little bit high though. Nice touch again coming from Snow on that right side. Mountaineers forced to play a bit defensively starting off in this match. Here, nice touch on her side. Snow, good 50, takes the win. Once again, I'm really interested to see how this Lotus team is going to be able to try to set this offense up and just get a lot of shots on goal. So far, it's only 30 seconds into the match, but LCU looking pretty good. Demolition going to come in onto Hira. Oh, but a nice goal still! Despite the demolition, Hira still finds it somehow, some way. Top left of the goal. Good play there by Snow, but no one back. Wow.
What an upper 90 by Hira. He even with the demo, he took the shot, and what a beautiful volley. So far, we have Lotus is going up. Emma going for another shot. It's off the board. And now you have Happy Chaps trying to clear it. But so far, both teams are really just kind of feeling each other out, trying to figure out what's the best way to plan as the game just starts, and both trying to pick up this crucial win. Like we said, the Mountaineers build off their playing to play pressure. And this game is going pretty much by a tug of war style game. So for the Happy Chaps, they really need to kind of regain momentum after giving up the early goal. Because when you give up an early goal like this to the Mountaineers, they can tend to cause problems. Because like when it rains, it pours.
Indeed it does, and almost another goal sneaking in there. Duffy finds the crossbar, sadly not the back of the net. But so far, as Mountaineer team, like you said, when it rains, it pours, and LCU does not have an umbrella for the time being, so we'll have to see how they're able to try to snap back and tie this thing up, because they had a bit of momentum in the first half minute there of this match, but it's kind of dissipated slowly. Emma gets a full boost, a lot to work with. So far, LCU haven't really had that many chances on offense. They were kind of able to keep the ball on the other side of the pitch, in that offensive zone, but they haven't really had any good looks as of yet. But there's a good one there, but off the crossbar. Duffy almost got the save, but Snow gets his own rebound. And that's going to be the tie here, 2 minutes in. What a play, wow.
Just a great play by the Happy Chaps, but Duffy so close from preventing that goal, just too little, too late. And now it just comes down, can the Mountaineers regain momentum and just take back the lead?
That is the question here. Duffy trying to do just that. Will get snuffed out though. Nice look. Gonna get denied immediately. Snow already 1 goal in this game, only on 2 shots. LCU still not a lot of shots on goal, but they have been efficient so far. Obviously, it's half efficiency there for Snow on those 2 shots. Emma making a lot working on this right side. She's been so far so good in this game. Hasn't found a goal just yet, but has been able to set up a lot of stuff. Emma on the backboard passes it over to Duffy on that right side, but Duffy choosing to get some boost instead. Hira is waiting back in goal. A good rotation there by the Mountaineers. Snap takes ownership, mid-pitch. Once again, right now we're kind of seeing a bit of back and forth from both these teams. Both teams trying to set up some stuff, trying to get that dual-prong, 3-prong attack going in. But right now, both defenses playing very stout.
Wait, who do you expect to kind of step up, knowing that the Mountaineers really only have 2 shots? Speak of the devil.
I think I'd have to say Emma. That's what I'd say here. Emma finding one, perfect timing on the question there. What a play by Duffy though to set that up. That's what I was talking about. Both these teams just trying to find these setups, and right after the Mountaineers do find their second on that insane demolition by Duffy. But no, I honestly probably would have said Emma there regardless. I just feel like with how she played last week, I don't think she's really planning on slowing down anytime soon. Nice setup there, snap, able to block the first one. Sadly, Duffy nowhere to be found. Probably stuck back on the rotation. Snow is able to field this ball, and Hira, nobody in goal, somehow able to get back. Almost a crucial mistake there by LCU.
Yeah, what a save by Snap of LCU. He just saved it from being a 2-goal deficit, and with knowing how the Mountaineers play, LCU has to know that was a crucial save, knowing just how aggressive this Mountaineer team likes to play.
100%. That cannot be something you get used to. That was a bit of a odd rotation there from LCU, but they were able to get back in time. Demolition on a snap there. That was the one defender last time. Mountaineers have found a lot of success so far. Good fake there by Duffy to try to set up Hira, but no. 2 defenders proves to be a little bit too much, and Duffy trying to just battle his way through the net. Does not come out on top there. 1 minute left for both these teams. Good demolition. Shadow, bit far on the left. Tries to center this ball over here for Snow. He's going to hit the crossbar. All 3 defenders were here. Somehow, though, LCU said it's a really good look. Duffy just taking the ball all the way home. Duffy carrying it on the top of his car, making it look way too easy there. I do not know where LCU even went. Shadow tried to catch up, but Duffy was simply too fast. A nice flick at the end to deny Snow the save, and the Mountaineers now have a 2-goal lead.
Yeah, it's literally like just LCU put on an invisibility cloak and disappeared. There was no one in sight for defense.
Oh, immediately off the kickoff though. Invisibility cloak there on the kickoff, I guess. Just grabbing that one pretty easily. Emma tried to go for maybe a fake there, and then Hira just, yeah.
Great goal by Shadow of LCU, but if you're LCU, you're going to have to keep playing very aggressive if you want to try to come back with only 50 seconds remaining trying to tie this game against a really good blue and gold team.
Yeah, this is definitely dangerous territory for them. They don't have a lot of time to really work with here. And so far, that kickoff goal, it's a essential one because now you're right back in this game. 1 more goal and you can try to send this game into overtime. But you got to find it. Snow trying to do just that on the side. Nice save there by Hira. A good pinch by Snow. Sally wasn't able to fall. Emma gets a good touch trying to get the center. Hira doesn't have the angle. Mountaineers putting a lot of pressure on. They can just keep this in the offensive zone for the time being. Game 1 should be theirs. Duffy playing passive. Mountaineers had that lead. They don't have to do anything too crazy here. Don't got to overextend. Emma knowing just that, going to rotate out for some boost. Mountaineers still keeping a lot of pressure on us by playing passively. Emma might have a look. No, just going to get it up in the air, pop it down. Wasting a lot of time. What a sequence there from Emma. The mechanical prowess coming out on full display. Pops it up in the air off the sidewall. Double bounce right over the defender. Highlight worthy right there. Wow.
That's the type of goal that just comes up with being a longtime veteran, and with both Emma and Hira being longtime veterans, this is just the type of experience that can help get you those critical goals and put games away when they're very close.
Agreed, and that's what Emma does best, putting games away. She does it here.
Now, Fate, let me ask you the question. What kind of stood you out most watching this first game against LCU?
I would honestly say Lotus's ability to really just find their footing early on in the game. You know, LCU kind of had a lot of, maybe not good looks, but they were trying to set up a lot in that first minute, and they were doing a good job of doing that. They didn't really find, as you see, if you kind of look at the shots here, only Snow was really doing anything super offensively. Shadow did have that kickoff goal earlier on, being his only shot. So I would say, honestly, Lotus's ability here to really set up their offense and get it going. 5 shots on goal from Hira and Emma. So, I mean, just kind of like we said earlier, if they're able to get the offense set up, pepper the goal, things are going to fall, and that's exactly what happened here.
Yeah, but what is most surprising is the Mountaineers usually struggle on defense. That's kind of what we've seen a problem with, and they've actually played a really good defensive game and taking out that last second goal. That would have been a 3-2 win over the Mountaineers. So it's honestly a good sight to see, knowing their defense is starting to make that improvement, knowing that's been one of the weaker points of the team. And if they can just keep up that momentum, not just now in the next round, but as the season starts winding down, this could be a massive difference maker that can help the team reach new heights.
100%. If you're able to, win on both sides of the ball, then you're basically unstoppable. And I mean, Emma and Hira finding 3 saves for Hira, 2 for Emma. Hira doing a bit of everything in that last match. So going into game 2 here, Mountaineers looking to close this thing out on a 2-0 and keep, I guess, LCU's 0 game 3 streak alive. LCU, though, at this point in the match, looking to keep their 1-loss record alive. Trying to climb this NACE leaderboard to the best of their ability.
I kind of expect the Happy Chaps to start out this game very, very aggressive, knowing when you're going against such a potent offense as the Mountaineers.
Oh, what a save.
When you're going against such a opponent as the Mountaineers, you're going to have to match their aggression if you're going to want to force a game 3.
100%, and that's, I mean, I kind of seeing what they're doing here. Already a really good look early on. Duffy was able to get that save somehow, just able to muster that up. We saw Snow and how lethal he was on offense that last time. Oh my goodness, what a flick there. Lotus going up early once again. I don't actually know what happened there. It was like snap almost. Yeah, just kind of gave up the ball, and Hira gets a nice open goal on that left side. Snap, I don't know if the controller disconnected there or something like that, but they just kind of maybe trying to leave it for, I don't know what happened there. Bit of a mishap from LCU. Mountaineers are able to capitalize. And that is an early lead once again. LCU, like you mentioned, going to have to play aggressive to try to get back into this.
Yeah. LCU, pretty much, they're going to need to find a little bit more offense, because the Mountaineers are just, I wouldn't say they're having their way, but they're making very technical and very smart goals when they've had the chances. And LCU is going to need to take advantage of the few chances they've had to try to get back to this.
Yeah, they had a really good chance earlier. Duffy finds the crossbar, but it was just saved immediately. LCU, they really haven't had, outside of, that one we had earlier this game, that's like the only really good look they've had all series long. They have got to try to set up some more goals, some more positions for the Mountaineers, so you're not be able to, save it at all. Because we've seen that with the Mountaineers, they're able to set up these goals where, Duffy's going to get the demolition, and then you have no defender, and it's just an open net. And so far, LCU really has not found that level of success on offense. Nice touch there by Duffy to deny. Snap up in the air, he's going to get demolition again. Demolition is something that's been very good here for the Mountaineers so far. I believe they've had like 8 of them so far in this series. So that's been able to set up a lot of goals for them.
Just a very unique game. Usually we're used to the Mountaineers just dominating on the offensive side of the ball, but so far this game has just been mostly back and forth near the middle of the pitch. So for the Mountaineers, this is honestly, as much as it sucks not seeing them dominate to their usual standards, I think this game's actually kind of helping them and kind of helps raise the bar on their defense, which we brought up plenty of times has struggled, but it's just a good fresh air to see that such a change in this team.
Yeah, and the defense once again showing right there. Snow has a decent look. Hira and Emma, the connection almost sparking there in a goal. Sadly, we'll get shut down immediately. Duffy has been a defensive mastermind so far in this series. He's had a lot of saves, had a lot of demolitions, has been setting up his team time and time again. Looking to do that once again here. As you can see, Duffy, the last defender, able to pop us up in the air, gets a fake, tries to get it down to Emma, and she will! Beautiful setup once again by Duffy. Emma able to capitalize. I mean, beautiful fake. Gets out one defender. Snow is in the perfect spot to, deny that first shot, but couldn't do the second one. And that is a 2-goal lead now for Lotus. Looking to put this thing away.
Yeah, great fake by Duffy, and even better, just Emma finishing right in front of the net, knowing how defensive these both games have been. Just great job by Duffy, relying on that veteran presence, knowing you guys can get that critical goal, and what could be ended up just being the icing on the cake.
Yeah, I mean, right now LCU has really not really found their gears here offensively. They've had a couple of solid defensive stops, but I mean, Mountaineers just, it's a hard team to try to stop them from scoring. It's near impossible sometimes. Hira has a nice mechanical movement there, not able to get it past the last defender. And Snap now on this right side. Another good save there by Emma, pinching it on the ground. And once again, like you mentioned, this Lotus defense is shining bright right now along with their offense, and they are looking unstoppable here. With 1.5 minutes left, LCU's got to get something going. Shadow taking this. Emma gets possession back once again. Trying to get a pinch off the ground. Another double tap. Emma's going to get it. 3-0 now. Beautiful plays. That might be a hat trick. I don't know if Emma scored the first one as well. Yeah, Shadow was there, but it's not in time. And that is Emma just on her masterclass behavior.
That was Emma's second goal of the game, but still, what just a great technical game by the Mountaineers, which have just played complete game. We're used to them seeing them just beat teams on the offensive side of the ball, but this is very new territory, seeing them just play a complete game on defense as well. And then for LCU, they just need to find just something to get the ball rolling, because so far they haven't really had any offense besides the one early in this game.
Yeah, and that's really been about it. And right now, Lotus just looking to take this in a commanding 2-0 series finish. Shadow trying to get a little defense there. It's going to get a demolition on the Duffy here on this left side wall. Passing over to Emma. Emma's going to get the center onto Hira, but a little bit too high. Almost another goal there for WVU. Duffy's going to be back now, kind of playing on that backside rotation. Hira's going to get the center. Taken ownership by LCU, but Duffy regains control. 2 shots on goal for him so far in this game. 2 saves and an assist. Been kind of everywhere on the pitch. But with time winding down, LCU's going to have to find 3 goals in 13 seconds. There's their first. Can they do 2 more? Most likely not. But at least getting on the board here in game 2 is going to be really good. Good positioning here. Beautiful timing as well by Shadow, just kind of just lurking and waiting for the right opportunity. And he will find it.
Even though it's probably too little too late, that's still a good moral victory to have after most likely losing a game, instead of having to move on. And it's a lot harder to do the mental reset knowing you got shot out.
Yeah.
Just having one on the board, they at least get the moral victory knowing that they got some off.
Exactly. Nice play there by Hira to set up this last goal. Not going to go the way. The ball's going to touch the ground, and Mountaineers are going to take a 2-0 victory here in a very beautiful fashion.
Yeah, just a very good game around. But Fate, I have to ask you, what kind of shocked you about this series against the Happy Chaps that you weren't expecting?
I mean, I'm in agreement with you. The defense looked amazing. I mean, the Lotus defense really, it's never been like weak. It's just never been like amazing. You know what I mean? They've always been an offensive team, team that's going to shine the brightest when it's a shootout. But here, I mean, this was a 3-1 win, almost a 3-0 win earlier on. Excluding that one kickoff goal, they basically played, perfect on defense. So honestly, their ability to really just dip their toes in both the offense and defensive side of the game is just really good.
Yeah, I definitely agree with what you said. That like you said, their defense hasn't their defense hasn't been their defense hasn't been like one of their struggles, but it's almost shocking. Not that not that we're not used to their standards, but they just elevated their defense. And if they can keep this up, not only for the rest of the season, but going to the next game at 9 o'clock as well, this team's going to be in a pretty good position. Not only to make a little bit run, but might be even be able to catch the Wichita State Shockers, who are currently up and alone on top of the mountain, the only undefeated team left in league play.
Yeah, so this makes the Mountaineers now 6-1. This shortens the second place pool. So we're going to find out later tonight who they're going to play at 9 o'clock, possibly 8:30, depending on when if that gets rescheduled or not. Let's see if I can hit this card. Oh my goodness, first try. Let's go. But on that note, that's going to do us for the time being. We will catch you guys later on in the night for the second round of Swiss. So we will see you there.
In the ways of the weak, the tales complete alone.